When one looks at Parshat Kedoshim, you have to be struck by the fact that it says, I am Hashem, your God, 10 times, and I am Hashem, Ani Hashem, 14 times, in one parsha. We don't find this throughout the rest of the Torah. Why are these words, God being our God, mentioned so many times in this week's parsha? The commentaries give different explanations as to the meaning of these words. There are some who say that it means, I am Hashem, I am the king, and therefore you must do what I command regardless of how you feel. There are others who say that it means, I am Hashem, you can trust me, I'm going to reward you for fulfilling my commandments. A third explanation is that I am Hashem, I see everything, you can't hide from me, and therefore keep to the commandments. And there's a fourth explanation as well, which says, I am Hashem, be like me. All of these commands are for you to be like me. I think if you look at all four of these explanations, we can understand why we find these words repeated so many times in this week's parsha. This week's parsha, Kedoshim, demands that we be holy, that we elevate ourselves way beyond the physical world, and we do that by going even beyond the laws that God has commanded. Try to go beyond the letter of the law and be spiritual people. That's very difficult to do. And the commandments in this week's parsha are very difficult to perform. Some of them are chukim, laws that have zero explanation, like shatnez, not mixing wool and linen together. Commandments such as v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, to love others like we love ourselves, something which seems impossible. There are laws like going the extra mile for charity, making sure that the crops in certain situations are given to poor people. Things that human nature might tell us, you know what, maybe I'll ignore that law and just keep those funds and those crops for myself. I believe that all four of these explanations gives different types of people motivation to fulfill laws which are so difficult to keep. For some people, it's just, he's God, he's the king, I can't ask any questions, and that's a motivation to fulfill these commandments. For others, they're looking for reward, and the idea that God can be trusted and he will reward us, that's going to be the motivation. For others, it's the fact that I can be more spiritual. God is telling me this is how I can be like God. That motivates me to keep these laws. And for others, it's just the fact that God is watching me, and maybe I'll be punished, and I don't want to be punished, and therefore I'll go the extra mile, and that will be my inspiration. Every single person can find their motivation as we read these words, Ani Hashem Elokechem, throughout this parsha. Each of us should find our inspiration to go that extra mile, to keep these laws, these commandments which are difficult to keep, and to recognize that by doing so, we are elevating ourselves to the highest of levels, Kedoshim Tiyu. Beyond the commandments, we can be holy ourselves, we can be like God. Wishing everyone a Shabbat Shalom.